Communication is something that we use every day as people. Nonverbal communication is a big part of it, and a very good example is in the movie Lars and the Real Girl. This scene that I'm going to talk about is the opening scene of the movie, and it discusses the two characters, Lars, who is the main character, who is a depressed and isolated individual who lives in the garage of his brother and sister-in-law's house. And the other character is Karen, who is Lars' sister-in-law. In this scene, Karen exits her house and goes to talk to Lars. In doing this, she's inviting him to breakfast that day with her and Lars' brother, her husband. Now, no matter how much Lars tries to decline this breakfast, he finally, inevitably, accepts based on Karen's supportive language. I chose this scene because it's at the beginning of the movie, and it really makes the actors and writers have to show the relationships between the characters. And the best way of doing that is through this nonverbal language, because you don't have to talk. It can be multiple things all at the same time in nonverbal communication. Now, the concepts that I'd like to talk about include proxemics, facial effect, and paralanguage. There are a few others, but these are the main three. In proxemics, that deals with the personal space between two people in conversation. Lars really uses this technique as he waits to open the door when Karen initially talks to him. Instead, he keeps the door closed and talks to her through the door. This creates a physical barrier between the two, which really separates the two emotionally. Another way that he does this is finally when he does open the door, he's standing all the way back. He could go way further and be way closer to Karen, yet he doesn't. These both show the discomfort and how much he wants to avoid talking to someone, even someone he's as close to, which is his sister-in-law. Facial effect is another concept that I believe strongly is applicable in this scene, as Lars, when he gets to the door and begins talking with Karen, he doesn't speak. Instead, he raises his eyebrows to ask Karen why she's there, and she understands and begins talking. Now, another way that facial effect is also included is in Karen, because as soon as she sees Lars, she has a smile on his face to create a warm, inviting atmosphere so that he's comfortable in accepting this breakfast that she wants him to go to. Paralanguage is used by both Lars and Karen, as Lars has a lot of long pauses and breaks between his speech, between the question and answer. It shows a lot of hesitation and anxiety in him because he's trying to think about what he's saying before he fully says everything, or even starts saying anything. Karen, for paralanguage, uses vocal pitch a lot. Her voice goes up and down in pitch often while she's speaking, which really creates an energetic and supportive atmosphere to comfort Lars. The other topics are topic avoidance, active listening and empathy, supportive communication, and accommodation. Karen communicates supportively and accommodates Lars, specifically when trying to invite him to this breakfast. When Lars says he can't go to it because of church, she changes the time. That's accommodation. In supportive communication, she uses a lot of open gestures, including head nods, which are encouraging body language, also supporting who Lars is and trying to get him included while respecting his boundaries. Topic avoidance and active listening and empathy are shown directly by Lars when he begins talking about the winter and how it's cold. When he gives Karen his shawl, he shows that he's actively listening and is empathetic towards her because it's cold outside. He sees that she is visibly cold, seeing that body language and understanding that body language to give her that shawl. Now, the topic of avoidance is when he does that, he completely changes the topic of the conversation from the invitation to breakfast to how cold it is outside. That shows that he's uncomfortable with that conversation, and that's why he wants to change it. Now, both of these characters have successes in this scene. I agree that Lars has a lot more challenges, though. His two biggest challenges, which really affect his speech, is his response latency and how long he takes to answer, and he could really work on that in practicing giving short answers without fully thinking through the statement. Another challenge he has is his avoidance. He emotionally distances himself by creating personal space and such. A way he could try to support and advance this is by communicating more with Karen, being close to her, and maybe even a hug every once in a while. However, this does not say that he doesn't have a success. When Lars gives Karen his shawl, he's showing that he's actively listening to her and cares about her. Through that communication of giving her the shawl, he's showing that care. And in a different way, with Karen, her biggest success is her supportive communication. She does that through her body language and her smile and her phrasing of sentences with her pitch to create a sincere and supportive atmosphere, inviting him to go to breakfast with her. Now, through this scene, there is a lot of contrast between the avoidant communication and supportive communication. The avoidance creates a lot of emotional distance between the two, and Karen's supportive style of speech tries to connect them. Now, in doing this, we can use those concepts that we viewed in real life by showing that supportive communication can help those who are struggling, can help those who are depressed and don't like talking to people, even the ones they're close to. And being aware of avoidant tendencies in yourself can also be very helpful for helping you communicate more openly. Because if you're aware that you're isolating yourself from other people, then you can further make it so that you aren't. Now, the scene reminds us that even when someone appears withdrawn, they still need connection and understanding to be able to talk to people. The sympathetic and supportive communication that Karen gives to Lars emphasizes this directly. Even a person who's suffering, through supportive language, can be helped, and that is an important thing to be able to use in your life. Thank you.